Have you wondered what your life will be if everything in your life is a static data, right? It will not work through because we are working into IT domain and data is everything over here. So if you remember this, in the last series, we have created a UI builder page, and in the UI builder page, we have added some context, right? For example, if I open it out, if I open the default page, what you can see on my screen. So we have added, hi there, welcome to TechnoMonk. So what will happen if you want to greet a user, okay, when he just logged in to your portal or workspace, right? You want to greet him out, right? But you can't hard code it out. So how we can bind the data over there? So in today's tutorial, we will see how we can bind the data and create a dynamic data binding, okay, in the UI builder. So let's get started. This is my personal development instance, and currently I'm on Washington DC. So what we'll do, we'll proceed with the one which we have created from the start. This is the second video in my UI builder series. Okay, if you haven't seen the first video, just go and watch through it. So what we'll do, we'll create a layout. We have seen we can create a layout from here, but now we can create we see this body, right? Under that also, if we do add content, we can add the layout from here also. Okay, so for the dynamic data, what I will do, I will just add single line column, and in this I will add a component called style text. Why style text? Because I want to see how we can play around the dynamic data. So uh, what I did, and there's a style text. It's let's work fluid. I don't want let's work fluid. So what I want, whoever logs into the system, it should greet them out. So I can give hello. I can give hello user. Okay, and if I will make it as h1. H1 is fine. We can do the CSS if we want, and on the styling side, I will do it center align. Okay, and I will save this out. So if I save this out, you can see immediately it shows hello user. But does it make sense? I don't think it makes sense, right? Because we don't want static data. Now we will see how we can make this particular data dynamic. So what you have to do, you have to just go over here, configure, and we have this yellow user, right? In front of it, you can see the data, bind data or use script kind of tag, right? Okay, the database icon. And if I click over here, we can see all kind of properties which this particular page is holding. Okay, so the page property is there. Okay, then we have data sources, where we have data sources property. So page property, what do you think? Let's see. Okay, so it has apps, Chrome header, footers, and all those things. Properties, okay, whatever is scrollable and all those things out. And we have session property. Then we have data resources also, which we have not configured. We will be seeing into subsequent tutorials. And then we have client side also. So we'll go to the page properties, and we want to have a session because the user session is there, right? Or user has logged into the system. So we'll refer that particular thing out. And in session, if we look into the user, we can see a lot of attributes which a user have already. Okay, so it has avatar, country, date form, domain, okay, full name, and all those things out, first name and all those things. So I will take the full name. You have to double click on it. Okay, a lot of people get messed up over there. So double click full name, and if I do apply, so now it have changed to system administrator. Why system administrator? Because I have logged in as system administrator, right? But does it make sense? System administrator. If you get a greeting, for example, if I log into my portal and if I get the greeting as Amit Gujarati, is it a greeting? No, right? We need some concatenation as a prefix or suffix for this, right? So how we can do that? So what I'll do, I will again go to the data binding pane only. And this time, what we do, if we see on the top side, right, bind data users, right? So if I click, there is a one more thing called use script. Wherever we want something which is not possible through configuration, we follow script, right? So here, if you look in the script tab, okay, what do you have to do? We have to just return something out, okay, which will be shown on the screen. And we have seen evaluate property function, and it has two attributes, EP and helper. If you keep an eye on this, okay, we have to just to the scheme, we have to get routed from page property to session, from user to full length. We'll do the same. Okay. So how we can do that? Okay. We'll go to the script again, and in return, I will do hello space. Okay. And then now we can add. Now it's the dynamic attributes. That's why I'm using concatenation, and I can do API. We'll just do it work. Okay. Let's see. API dot, what do we have to do? Context, right? Dot session, because we have seen it was on session dot user dot what exactly we want to see over there. So we want to see full name, right? Perfect. Now if I see apply, okay, apply this, it's just hello system administrator. So this is done. If you try to impersonate and check this out, it will show that impersonation user details over here. But who wants to script? Because why we move from portal to UI builder, right? With the thought that it's a no code kind of approach, but still we are writing the code over here for such a small thing. No, we don't have to do that. Let's see one more approach through which we can achieve the same. Now what we'll do, we'll just go to configure. Again, we go to data pill. Okay. This time we'll go to formula, and you must be knowing the string formula and all this thing. If you don't know also, it's a string, right? So we want string. So let's string, and we will do concat. What concat does? It's pretty simple. You can see the documentation also here. Concat values together. Okay, value 1, value 2, and it will append both of them. Perfect. So once we click on this, double click, it asks for the first value. So we will give hello. Sorry, hello. In the, my bad. Let me just play it right with inverted comma. Hello space. And now in the second value, we want a dynamic attribute, right? So we'll follow the same thing out, what we have done. So we'll do @context dot session dot user dot full name. Same thing. Okay. Let's do, just to see the difference. We'll remove this full name, and we will just get the dot user ID, for example, username. Okay. And we'll do apply. So as my username is admin, it shows me hello admin. Isn't it amazing? So this is the wrap up for second tutorial. In second tutorial, we have seen how we can bind data dynamically. Okay. This was just a simple example. We'll be seeing how we can pull this data from server side and so on and so forth. Okay. In the upcoming videos, I will save this out, and we'll continue from this video only in the next tutorial. Thank you.